So, this is a different kind of video for me. Usually I make like animations and stuff like that or something. But that takes a lot of time and it also uses a lot of copyrighted music, and I would like to monetize this channel so I can pay for my thousands of dollars in college debt eventually. So I'm looking into also making other content. The animations are not going away. I don't even know if this is the kind of stuff I'm going to stick with, but I was like, hey, I like drawing furries. I started drawing furries through a tutorial, which I'll link down below, like a couple other tutorials as well. Just because, like, I don't know, it's nice to see, like, other artists' perspectives, that are not just, like, one video that you saw, but whatever. But I was like, hey, I like drawing furries, and, you know, tutorials are cool. Why don't I make one? So, here we are. Yippee, I guess. Okay, so I've decided to get this picture, the reference picture of the animal I'm going to draw. I'm drawing a wolf, because I feel like that's going to be the most, like common, like, persona, especially, like, as, like, an entry level, like, starter persona. It's just a very common species, especially with people who are just getting into the fandom, and who are starting to learn to draw furries. So that's why it's not for any other particular reason. I just thought it would probably be the most applicable to a beginner. So to start, you're going to want to start with the head. Most character drawings, if not all, start with the head. Now, for the head, we're just going to draw a circle. It doesn't have to be super big, it doesn't have to be super small, just like a circle. Try not to draw this too small, because in the long run, drawing really small and only with your wrist is going to hurt your wrist. Trust me, I would know. So you have your circle. There it is. Great. Woohoo. So for the chest, it's like a weird, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like kind of like a semicircle, but like if you took it and you stretched it out, you know? So it's kind of like that kind of shape. And then after you draw your chest, you're going to want to draw the hips. So for the hips, it's going to be a little bit thicker than the chest and bigger than the head. Generally on furries, at least furries who are digigrade, which if you don't know what digigrade means, it means instead of having a leg like this, they have a leg like this. That's not a good drawing of a leg, but that's fine. So they have more like animal-esque legs. Now, obviously this varies from species to species. Like a bear, especially, would not have this kind of leg, but we're doing a wolf, so yeah. But usually on a species that is digigrade, they're going to be a little bit bottom heavy. So you're going to want to connect that, and then you're going to want to start drawing the legs. Now, from a front angle, they are kind of like you're going to want to draw like kind of like a bean shape down here. Well, two bean shapes down here. And then you're going to want to bring two almost cylinder-esque like shapes down here. And you're going to maybe want to like kind of curve this area inward just a little bit. Now for the feet, it's just kind of two like half circles. It's a half circle and not a full circle because we want to show that it is on the ground and like touching the ground. If it was not touching the ground and let's say it was like in a raised up position, it might be a little more rounded at the top. But generally, if they're standing up, it's just kind of how it's shaped. So then after that, we're going to want to start by connecting the neck to the chest. And we're going to want to start with the shoulders. So on a furry, it's kind of weird. It's not like... This is something I saw with, I think, like, Zootopia. Like, art guides or something that they had for the animators, where they have, like, less defined shoulders than like a person would, which I think is very interesting, and I think it's a good idea. And this could vary depending on if you're doing a more animal-like style or a more human-like style, but for now we're kind of in the middle. So you're gonna want to bring these two arms down, get a shoulder kind of right above where the circle for the hips were. Not shoulder, elbow. Elbow. That is not a shoulder, that is an elbow. You want to get the elbow, like a little circle where the elbow is, right above there. So we're just, for the position, we're just going to have the arms kind of out, and we're just going to, again, think of these as like cylinders. A big piece of advice is to think of everything in your drawing as a 3D shape and not as a 2D, like, object, which I think is very interesting. And it is very helpful because you are trying to make it look 3D. So, two just like kind of circles for the paws where that's going to be. And then for the tail's pretty easy. You kind of want to have it come out from, like, imagine like if this kind of is where the butt is and where it connects. Especially for a wolf, that's easy. It's just kind of like that. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just this kind of shape. Almost like a weird banana shape. I don't know how to explain that. Anyways, so now that you have kind of your basic outline for the anatomy, you're gonna want to go up to the face and start sketching out the face. So, 2 triangles for the ears, and again, a lot of these things can vary, but this is for a wolf. 2 triangles for the ears. Then you're gonna want to do this. Is it like a cross hatch or a cross hair? Because I thought cross-hatching was this. I don't know. I don't know what it's called. You're going to want to do this thing. One, again, another piece of advice is to curve it around the head instead of just drawing this, because I think it's just really helpful in thinking of it as a 3D shape. You can also kind of mark out, like, either triangles or whatever shape you want for your, like, cheek fur. And then if you want, like, a hair tuft, you don't have to. You can, like, draw that on. So for the muzzle, one big beginner mistake is drawing it like this. Now, there's nothing wrong with that on its own, because a lot of art styles have this kind of muzzle. Like, Bluey is a really good example of a show with that kind of 2D flat muzzle. But a lot of times I see it in styles that are not meant to be very, very flat, and it just looks kind of off-putting. So you're going to want to, again, think of it as a 3D shape. So kind of mark out where the eyes are going to go up to, and kind of make a line down here, and start to make like a box going in to the face. And again, muzzles can vary. All of this could potentially be subject to change depending on what species you're drawing. So that's kind of the shape you want for the muzzle. You don't have to draw like both sides coming out. It kind of depends on what angle they're looking at, whatever. For the nose, it's kind of just like a rounded off triangle. And then for the mouth, it's like you connect it a little bit here and then just kind of do like a W almost, but following along where the muzzle is. So for the eyes can be a lot of different shapes, but for now, I'm just gonna go with like kind of like the not like the semicircle-ish, kind of like oval-y shape, because I think that it's just a very basic eye shape. You can make it like this, you can make it like a circle, whatever. But again, for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to go with the most basic thing. The eyebrows are just 2 like kind of lines that are right above the eyes. Then just draw a little bit of this for the inside of the ears. And then you can draw the pupils kind of looking off to the side. It's a little bit better to draw them looking in a specific direction than just like staring at the camera. Well, at least for like a ref sheet. I mean, if you're specifically trying to have them just like stare at whoever's looking at it, then go off, you know? So the final thing for the sketch is the paws, the front paws. So beans, we're gonna draw the beans, and they're kind of just like beans, literally. And you kind of just want to make sure that you're differentiating the thumb from the rest of the fingers, slash beans, slash whatever. This can, again, vary style to style, but whatever. And you're going to want to make sure that the thumb, if it is in an open palm position, the thumb is going to be facing away from the body. And if it is in a, like the back of the paw is facing the viewer, the thumb is going to be facing towards the body. This goes for both hands. Now, obviously, this might be different if it has, like, I don't know, like 2 left hands or something. But in general, that's how you're going to want to do that. That's how I remember it, at least, because otherwise I would not. I'm not very good at remembering my rights from my left. So it's definitely helpful. So you're just kind of doing the same thing on the other paw. Like, it's the same thing. I don't know. Oh, yeah, the beans. Like, the beans. The beans, like, the pads on the, like, fingers are just kind of circles. And then the one in the middle, the way I draw it usually is just kind of like a heart, like an upside down heart that's kind of rounded off at the top. So you have your basic outline. Now what? Now you're going to want to start lining. I forgot to do the little lines, the curved lines here for the back toes. Now you're going to want to start lining. So yeah, you don't have to get a different brush. You can. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I made this kind of high up on the canvas for some reason. And I did not, that is not the right tool. There we go. Okay. So if you're on digital, you lower the opacity. If you're on paper, hope you drew light, because that would suck. If you're on paper and you didn't draw light enough, it's fine. You can just erase a little bit, and it should provide the same effect. I would recommend sketching light if you are on paper, though. Okay, so lines, I'm not going to go into, like, a whole lot with line art, because line art is weird. I don't even like doing line art. But, it doesn't really matter as much where you start with the lines. I'm just going to start at the chest here and do some of the chest fluff, which is probably one of the places where they're going to have the most fur, is in the chest, and maybe the neck a little bit as well. And definitely, like, on the cheeks, they're going to have a lot of fluff. One tip for drawing fur is that I see a lot of people do this kind of thing. That doesn't look natural. It looks very stiff, and it doesn't look very good. So you're going to want to just, like, give the, like, I guess, little, like, triangular shapes a little bit of flow to them. So just, they don't need to be perfect. They can be a little curvy. They can be whatever. And you can always draw fur in different ways as well. You can draw it like this. You can draw it like that. There's a ton of different ways that you could draw fur. But for now, again, I'm going to go with the basic kind of like triangular little wispy shapes. If you made a hair tuft, then draw that. I'm not going to get into coloring because, like, that's a whole other mess that I don't want to get into. Just don't pick the brightest version of every color, and don't pick every color unless that's like the point, then you'll be fine, okay? For now. So just really just like following your sketch is what this is. I'm probably gonna skip past to where I'm gonna do the face. so I'm drawing the face now. So for the face, you just kind of want to, again, follow along the lines of your sketch. And if you want, you can make the mouth in like an open position, which would kind of be like connecting here, like at this like kind of area of like where the mouth comes up, and then like just inside and like before the muzzle ends. And then you can add like teeth. You can do them on the top or the bottom or both. It doesn't really matter. And, like a tongue. And then do the nose. You can color that in the line art or not if you want. It kind of depends on personal preference. For the eyes, I tend to do slightly thicker lines around the top, but that's again up to personal preference. Again, you can line the pupils or you can not line them. And then just make sure you do the bottom of the muzzle here. And kind of just follow along that line. And with that, wait, I forgot something. There we go. And with that, you are finished. And here's our finished drawing. I actually really like this drawing. It's cute. I hope this tutorial helped you a little bit. I don't really make tutorials very often. I don't really know what I'm doing. Hopefully it was good. Hopefully it helped you. If you followed it and you made your own drawing, tag me on Twitter at meowsersoo. I would love to see your drawings. Like, if someone sends me their drawing, I'm just gonna cry. Maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, that's really it. I really enjoyed, making this video, and I would like to do more videos like this in the future, so if you want me to, let me know. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!